Howdy friends, Tulio here behind the wheel. I'm headed west from Colorado Springs toward Woodland Park today. And to do that, off of I-25, which goes north-south, that would take you to Denver, Pueblo, I branched off near our downtown on a road called Cimarron. Cimarron turned into Highway 24, and that's what I'm on right now. So I am going westbound. It's going to be a little bit of a wiggly path. On the way, you go past, right now I'm passing an area off to my right called Old Colorado City on the other side of these trees. Super cute little area with turn-of-the-century homes, lots of shops, restaurants, things like that. And then the next little town that we're going to pass is Manitou Springs. And Manitou Springs is a real eclectic town, real neat older homes, also turn-of-the-century, Victorian stuff, lots of little bed and breakfasts, family owned motels. There's a really nice hotel called the Cliff House in there. Bars, restaurants, shops. When people come to Colorado Springs, they go to Manitou Springs and they show their family that little town because it's so darn cute. They have a penny arcade, skee ball, and tons of video games from the 80s, which is super cool. Anyway, the reason why I want to take you for this little drive with me is because there's some really neat stuff to see along the way. Like this would be like what we would call a pass. This was carved out at one point in time. I'm sure dynamite had to be used to get through these red rocks to put a road in. And I just always think it's cool. And then when you get to this point right here, you start to see the mountains, and they're so much bigger than when you're in town. Even though Colorado Springs is always close to the mountains, this is one of those drives that it's easy to take for granted when you live here just because it's what you do. But it's so darn beautiful. And the sun's rising. It's early morning. It's not even 7 a.m. yet. Passing the Manitou cliff dwellings right now, which is a really neat venue. It's a place you can go. It's a kind of a tourist destination, but I mean, it's pretty real, you know. It's rock formations and carved out mountainside, carved out to pretty much exactly the way the indigenous people lived here before we took over, essentially, you know, and all the dwellings that the Indians lived in the mountainsides. And they turned it into something that you can go and you pay to go through and walk and see. I've done that with the family a few times and with relatives when they come to visit. All right, so we're getting to near the end of Manitou Springs land, and we're gonna go through a pass here. Off to the right, there's a place called Cave of the Winds. It's right next to the cliff dwellings. And that's in the mountain. It's a tour through the mountain, and you get to go down and see all the stalactites and all that type of stuff. It's really neatly lit, and it's a in the mountain tour. So that's a cool destination as well. But okay, so we're going to go through this pass here in the mountains. It doesn't take too long, but it's just a beautiful drive, and I just want to share it with you. There may be some moments where I just don't say a whole lot, but I just want you to take it in. It may feel like you're pretty close to these mountain formations, and we're going to be kind of hugging the red rock wall at some points. And in some places like this, you'll see signs that say, "Beware of falling rocks." That could be dangerous, but what they've done in some of the places here, you may or may not be able to see it. There's not one right at the moment, but there will be. They have some, like, it's almost like a chain link fence that runs down the mountainside and hugs the mountain to keep some of the rocks within it, especially where the cars are really close to the mountainside. I can see some right now. Yeah, they're kind of hard to see. I would assume they'd be hard to see on the camera, but it's almost like a net of chain link fence that they just run down the mountainside. And it's surprisingly not really an eyesore because you can barely notice it. But like right here on this bend, Remember when I was a younger driver here in Colorado, this always scared me. But this is a cool drive. Do you believe every once in a while you see someone on a bicycle doing this? It's such a tight drive for the cars. That's a little scary. But it's just neat because, you know, I mean, it's zigzaggy. The rocks are so beautiful. You go really high up. Lots of pines and other beautiful trees along the way. Fortunately, they keep the speed limit here 35. I could see someone trying to whip through in a sports car or motorcycle just for fun, because sometimes the zigzag roads can be fun like that. But this is kind of neat too with the sun, because it's sunrise. You know, it's coming up in the east. When you're in ColoradoSprings or Denver or Pueblo and the sun's rising, our mountains are always to the west in any of those towns. So off to the east, it's very flat, and it's a lot like Kansas. And when you look to the west, it's the Front Range. That's where our big mountain, which is 14,000 feet, and it's off to the left of me now. That's Pikes Peak. And in order to get through the mountain range, this is kind of what you have to do. You got to do what's called passes, and they're carved out areas of mountain that you drive through. And sometimes there's zigzaggy roads that go around a mountain or a portion of it. And all those zigzags, we call them switchbacks, because you're switching back and forth to get up a hill or a mountain. So just driving along here, and there's some little towns along the way. When you get out of this pass and you clear these big red rock formations, brings you to a little town called Chipeta Park. And it's super small, but there's some cool houses in Chipeta Park, and there's a amusement park there up on the mountainside. It's called Santa's Workshop. And it's kind of cool. Actually, it's called the North Pole. Santa's Workshop is within it. But they have lots of rides, and they're not all just for kids. They've got rides for adults. It's very Christmassy themed, open year round, and it's fun. Got a Ferris wheel that is my understanding, it's the highest Ferris wheel in the world, which wouldn't surprise me because it's on Pikes Peak, not like on the top, but it's, you know, kind of 1,000 feet up from the town of ColoradoSprings, maybe more, I'm not sure. But so we've kind of cleared the red rock portion. You'll see some carved out mountainsides over here. We've been climbing in altitude. When you drive down that, it's wise. And when you drive down the mountain, that's where you really learn how to work your gears in your car so that you don't burn up your brakes. I've taught my kids how to do that, and it's very helpful. Otherwise, you ride your brakes and burn them up. They get hot. All right, so we've cleared that pass, and now we would be getting into Chipeta Park. There's the sign for the North Pole. So that was just a little drive, ColoradoSprings, passing through by Old Colorado City, through Manitou Springs, passing the cliff dwellings, Cave of the Winds, and then all the red rock formations on your way toward Woodland Park. So I wanted to share that with you. Hey guys, if you like these videos, make sure to follow, like, or subscribe, and I'll keep bringing you more.